Tourism special meeting on March 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Roll call: Ed Hofler. Here. Jeff Kadursky, not present. Sean Marufka here. Lance Schaefer. Here. Mark Wiley. Here. Barbara Westner.
Here.
Okay. Citizen comment period. No one in the room. No one in the room. Do you have anything to say? No, you're going to go in the next, right? All right. Item number 3, Engage Franklin Promotional Services Menu. Laura Nelson at Strategic Action Planning and Sports ETA. How do you say that word? Go ahead.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for this special meeting because I know everybody's extremely busy. And timelines are getting close for a couple of the things that we are eager to accomplish, hopefully together. So the strategic action planning, thank you to those who were able to make it in the room, Ed, Barbara, and Mark and John. Barbara and Mark and John, I sincerely appreciated having a nice wide range of opinions and ears and thoughts and sharing of hopes for the future, that kind of thing. I think having a variety of people in the room always makes a better outcome, so appreciate it. And an invoice that was submitted for Lynn's travel. Was that it?
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
So just politely requesting that we include that in the investment and appreciate that very much. I hope it's a shared opinion that she did a wonderful job and that everybody felt like they left the room feeling a little bit better about the future of Franklin tourism. And then the second one, B, there is the Sports ETA Symposium. That's an event that's taking place. We've discussed it a few times. It's taking place May 8th through 11th, I believe it is. And the appointment portal is April 16th. So the membership and the registration to that event is of the essence of time. We really want to make sure that we have the ability to log in and get the appointments that will best suit Franklin and our venues. In addition to that, I wanted to report on the fact that I've been meeting with Oak Creek Tourism, and so a couple of their representatives from their tourism commission, and then as well as Andrew Vickers, the city administrator, on some partnership opportunities. We had talked a lot about how there's a significant amount of overflow that goes to the hotels in Oak Creek from Franklin events that take place at our sports venues. And it's totally understood and appreciated on their part. They want to make sure that it is a partnership that is equal and recognizably so. So they are interested in co-investing in Sports ETA Symposium and co-representing. My thought process behind that, I know Franklin in the same pool, but at the same time, I feel is this particular market, it's a really good test subject for that. So in a lot of these mini dates for these rights holders, they require a certain amount of hotel inventory and they require a certain amount of square footage for sports venues. Franklin has the square footage for sports venues. Franklin has the sports venues in spades, right? We have more than enough and a lot to market there. We just don't have the hotel inventory to match some of these larger events we'd like to acquire. So the partnership with Oak Creek makes sense. They need our venues and we need their hotel inventory. So we're looking to co-invest, and even to the point where Andrew Vickers said that he'd be willing to invest on behalf of Oak Creek in shared collateral. Obviously, we could come and create our own collateral and look like two different destinations, but in this particular instance where we're presenting, he's offered the ability to subsidize the printing and the design of a shared collateral piece that demonstrates Franklin's venues and the hotel inventory in Oak Creek. And then obviously the addition of Milwaukee Yard to the inventory for our venues. So I feel like it's kind of a marriage that will make a lot of sense, and then we can collect some wins, and we can fill all of our hotel rooms and be happy. And I feel like we have the ability also to target the times that we need it, because there are times, of course, that our hotels are already full. So we're going to be looking very specifically at creating appointments with groups that are hosting events during times of year that we could use the revenue. So if anyone has any questions about the symposium, the purpose for going, that I'm happy to do it.
Could I just add, one of the things we did the second day of strategic planning was, as a board, we took all the different concepts, all the different ideas that had come up in the first day, and we prioritized those in the top 5 that we identified. And one of those we and that's why I wanted to put that out there. But the first one was to get the contract resolved, the contract between Engage Franklin and Tourism Commission. And a subset of that is the regular funding or some way of funding. So that was the number one priority that we established for Laura. The second thing was a functioning website, which I know she's already working on. The third thing was a local PR campaign with the intent of squashing the perception of this being a rock-centric activity. And then we had a social media strategy, and then fifth was industry organizations and sports ETA, and that was given to Laura as one of the initiatives that the board wanted to see her pursue. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because it ties to what Creek and the reason, part of the reason for this meeting.
So I just have a couple of questions. Can you share with me just a little more about what kind of groups you want to hear?
Yeah.
And how many do you think, what's your goal for this first symposium?
Absolutely. So right now, without having an active membership, having not purchased one, I don't have access at this point to the list of RFPs that are out there, but I can surmise that many of them are basketball, volleyball, traditional type sports events. So I'd like to be able to net at least one or two of those when we go, but time will be of the essence for that, to make sure that we're filling, during those dark months, or during the periods of time that we really need it. So there will be a focus on timing in trying to feeling there will be several of them. So two or three of those I'd like to go after. And then in addition to that, there will be inevitably some quirky ones that I think will be fun and entertaining for the community to see, or at least to partake in the bidding process for them. Like, I know, for example, there's a juggling one that's out there. There can be ones for multiple different things similar to that. I'd like to maybe get one quirky one, to really kind of see if we can spread our wings and get ourselves to think about tourism in a fun way. And then the other ones would be your more traditional sports. But I can give a very specific answer as soon as I have access to that RFP list.
So along your theme of being timely, if that's in May, you said,
Yes.
you're confident that you will have something printed or web. You go to these things and a lot of the stuff ends up in the garbage. And that would be my concern, is that it's coming up so quickly. What do you have for you to hand out or to direct people for further information?
Right, that's an excellent question. So that piece of shared collateral is of priority. So I got off of a call today. I probably have a couple of bids in my email right now from a couple of different companies I've talked to. And like I said, that piece of shared collateral, I don't want to get into the habit of relying on other communities, but at the same time, Oak Creek has generously offered to subsidize that. So we can move quickly on that collateral piece, make sure that it, is really, really compelling. It'll be comprised mostly of shared inventory numbers, like charts, graphs, things like that. And then it'll be image heavy, because we have some of the coolest, most state-of-the-art facilities, and I want to be able to show them off visually. I feel like that'll be a big selling point. From my experience doing this before, our proximity to the airport and our location between two metropolitan cities will be a huge plus. It'll make us a very desirable space. So, and in addition to that, my experience shows that in these little mini sessions, they end up kind of doing with your collateral, and you can watch them do it. There's a yes pile, there's a no pile, and there's a maybe pile, and you know which one your collateral is going in, right? So my goal is to make it compelling enough. What we're looking at right now is a trifold, but not your traditional trifold, like a larger, heavier stock, more image heavy trifold that will measure about this to this and fold. I'd be design stuff with you guys as soon as we have that ironed out, but it will be compelling. And Andrew Vickers' quote on our last call, he says, "We're not going to cheap out. This is our first step in to representing ourselves as a sports marketing, or this is our first sports marketing initiative. This is our first entrance to the stage with all of these people as a community, and we don't want to do it wrong." So,
I don't wanna get into second guessing design and all that stuff.
Oh, no, yeah.
For you guys, I just wanted to know what the plan was and
mhm.
what the expectation is. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet, you bet. Yes.
I was wondering if folks from Oak Creek shared with you what what they felt were the slower periods, where they're like, you know, we ideally, if we could get some team business in this time period, it'd be really beneficial. Did they give you some idea of what?
Yeah, so anecdotally speaking, it's similar to, from what I can tell, that it's winter weather weekends are tricky for them. Winter weather weekends, where they have corporate business to keep them afloat during the cold months. You know, their Monday through Thursday isn't terrible, you know, but really where that shift goes from leisure, corporate, where in the summertime there's a strong balance with the overflow and such from all of the sporting events, then in the wintertime when those aren't taking place and the programming slows down, they have, you know, gaps
Yeah,
there.
so through the primary winter months is what they're, yeah, that would be great. And that's where like the Mosh has really helped at the Rock, because we're now starting to get those indoor soccer events and things
Right.
that take place November, December, January,
Yeah.
February.
And they're also installing 4 competition level basketball courts, which could also serve as volleyball courts, pickleball, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to really, really broaden, because when you rent it for all 100 yards, you know, you have 2 soccer teams, you have 22 people, you know, occupying that field, right? It's difficult to get somebody who would be willing and able to pay the amount that they would want to have to program that large space at once. So to be able to cut it in half, so to speak, diversified sports, it's really going to be a step in the right direction.
Could I ask Laura, what is the difference between all of these various events? And why are we selecting the one in May instead of October? I mean, what's the difference?
The various events.
Yes. Difference.
The various events.
Yes. There are 5 of them listed there.
Yeah, let me see here. Let me see what I ended up prioritizing.
No, I'm looking at this page.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
There are 5 different sequences.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so the symposium is the one with the greatest focus on business. It is where you get face to face with the rights holders. Other ones are more focused on industry education and networking and those types of things. This one is very much focused on making sure that there's that face time between the destinations and those who are doing the booking.
I see. And then the other question I had was, did Andrew indicate how much he is willing to invest?
No, he asked me to get quotes. He's
Oh,
investing.
okay, I'm not talking about the actual, collateral piece.
Sure.
I'm talking about just in general.
Sure, he's investing in, well, he's already invested in membership for Oak Creek so that we can share the stage, so to speak, and also registration for an employee to come and co-represent with me. So they've invested in membership and registration, and then we'll do the collateral piece as well.
Okay, so his co-investment that you were talking about is really for this, anything else?
Absolutely, yeah, we want to try this first. We want to collect some wins and see how it works out before we dive too deep into something.
Okay.
Any other questions? We did approve the travel too.
Oh, great,
That was travel
thank you.
that was approved last week, so it should be
Appreciate
in
that. Thank you very much.
there. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, all set.
Yep.
Wonderful, thanks, guys.
All right, item number 4, we'll go into closed session. The Tourism Commission may enter closed session at 8:05 to deliberate upon the Franklin Field naming rights agreement between Franklin Tourism Commission and Milwaukee Milkman